This episode is sponsored by Well Balanced Nutrition and 360 Health.
Welcome to the Health Geeks Book Club podcast. Listen in as Kristen Norton and Eleanor Russell review all those great health and wellness books you've been wanting to read or you have read and want to talk about. Here's Kristen and Eleanor.
Well, hello.
Howdy, everyone.
We're the Health Geeks. And we've been at a time of reflection. You know, the equinox just happened. On Monday, the 22nd, we had the autumnal equinox. And I always like to follow the rhythms of nature as a wellness architect. Kristen, do you pay any attention to those things?
Only because of you, and I love that.
Yeah. So I always do either a cleanse or a reset, a dietary thing. But with that, I always attach something like maybe a hiatus from social media or a reading of meditative things, you know, just to kind of get me set for the next season. Because we're leaving the gardens and we're coming into the house here pretty soon. It's going to be dark early. You know, 5 o'clock feels like 9 o'clock in the winter.
Right.
And gather around the hearth and eat the warm stews and vegetables, root vegetables.
Soup season.
Yeah, it's all good. But I like to just, as the earth is kind of like pausing before it falls in another direction, you know, and we're going to fall away from the sun right now, to take some time to reflect. So as a podcaster, this has been my very first experience with podcasting. Kristen, have you ever podcasted before?
No. And boy, have I learned a lot.
Haven't we? This has been quite a journey. Tim, you're the pod father, you know?
I am.
Yeah. So what year did you start podcasting?
2008.
Yeah. Wow. And this is 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Started the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
17 years. Huh? So we could not have associated with a more experienced and encouraging podcaster than our producer, Tim Beeman.
Yes. So encouraging. And, you know, we had just this little idea and he kept helping us and encouraging us and helping us grow it.
Yeah. And, you know, I always talk about being the older one on the team here. And so my peers, many of them still don't quite understand what a podcast is. So I feel like I'm sort of a trendsetter in my decade of people, whereas the young people have been understanding podcasts for many years. So since 17. I mean, were they very...
Oh, no. When I first started it, there were like 1,500 on iTunes.
There you go.
And it was so new that no one, knew what it was, knew how to do it, anything like that. I mean, I couldn't ask anybody. Everybody now can come to me.
Yes.
Or they can go to YouTube University, or they can do whatever. But I didn't have that.
And this whole...
I didn't even have YouTube.
No, right? No, you didn't. And the thing is just mushroomed because it is the way people get information now.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of us out here now. So you have to be a little discerning maybe about which podcast you spend your time on.
That's true.
You know, so we've tried to hold the bar up high. But I guess what I'm heading into here is with the reflection is Kristen and I have decided we're going to take a time out. Whether or not it's a farewell, goodbye, hard set, we don't know. Because, you know, who knows? The future is unpredictable. And we could be back with some new books. But how many books did we read?
92.
In 4 years and 8 months is what I calculated. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm still digesting all that.
Yeah. Well, first I'm patting myself and you on the back because, dang, that's a lot of books that we read. And I wouldn't have been able to do it without you and this podcast.
I think that's true for me, too.
And I love that. But you're right. As I reflect on all these books, there's some of them that I barely remember the insides of the book. And then there's others that made lasting impressions. But as I reflect, I'm like, with a little bit of space, maybe I can continue to implement some of these ideas, or
that's where I'm headed. It's like I want to
meditate on them.
In one case, we ended up with Forever Strong, which was a pretty radical discourse about muscle building and protein and how to live a healthy lifestyle. Because I think that's been our focus: is how do we ourselves embrace a healthy lifestyle, but how do we help others who are also wanting to do that have a place to talk about how they're going to construct theirs and what information are they going to use to do it, and can they rely on that? So we've been trying to offer an educated perspective on that. So I kind of feel like we've been to college for 4.5 years. I want a new degree. I'm going to make one and put it on the wall.
The Health Geeks.
Yeah, Tim's
degree.
Podcast U.
That's right, Podcast U.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Podcast U. But Tim,
Good old PU.
Tim's PU. Tim's PU. I like it. But we want to thank some people. Tim is at such and such media and has all this great equipment, and we didn't have to learn how to do it. Some podcasters do it in their living room, and I've always been an advocate for if you know a professional, align with one. And Tim, you're the ultimate professional in this. And
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Always make us sound great.
yeah, well, you do what you can.
No, I
You do what you can
actually
for us,
do
yeah.
very little in that. You guys are taking care of it yourself. Yeah, it's been an honor being with you guys. Like I said, I don't know if we still use that same intro or not, because truthfully, I don't listen to that part.
You do.
But you guys do it, so I don't have to. And I feel like I've read 92
Yeah.
books too.
You have.
The audio
We've taken
version.
you to school,
Yeah,
too.
that's right.
To PU.
Not taking me to PU. You know what that's from, right? Rocky and Bullwinkle. He went to Pimento University. Good old Pimento U.
Well, that's
good
suitable.
old PU. But yeah, so, and I didn't have to give you a lot of guidance on what to do here. You pretty much take it and ran with it. And I'm very happy with what you were able to do, and you're good students.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right, we're in the Omniverse
Studios.
Yes, right. And we're also part of your Less Desirables network, but I always say we're the most desirable of the less desirables,
I
right?
agree with you. and the thing is this is, whether it's goodbye or whatever, you are still on the network because this is a great resource for people who I know Mama's Going to Make It refer to you a lot, which is also on this network.
Wonderful.
Thank you, ladies.
Yes, they are fans. So yeah, it will remain on the network. It's not going anywhere, and the website will still be up. And you never know when the mood might hit them, and I'm still going to be here.
Yes, you are.
So-
Yeah. Well, what about our bookstore? Will it stay there?
It will.
All right, because we have these 92 books that we would recommend. I think
Most.
We did qualify a couple of oops, but
Well, but some people need to read it to make their own
opinion. Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
But
Just because you don't recommend it doesn't mean that it's not worth reading for somebody.
that's true. But we gave you our opinion.
Mostly true.
There might be some better choices. That's all we would say.
Now,
All right.
that I will certainly agree with.
Hey, if you're as interested in prevention as I am, contact me, Eleanor Russell, at 360health, number 4, letter U.com. Whether you're interested in financial wellness or physical health products, 360 Health invites you to become part of our community. And so then we've had the privilege of having some authors join us, which I have really enjoyed, and would look forward to more of them participating in the conversation, but they're busy people. But we had Dr. Steve Cheney, Professor Emeritus from UNC.
Right. And we talked about slaying the food myths and the supplement myths.
Right, yeah.
His books.
And then locally, Michael Rolls, who is sort of a trendsetter in physical therapy, massage therapy, very interesting techniques that he's developing. And he wrote a book called Turning Pain into Love.
Just opened his new facility
Yes.
here, and
Yeah.
2 blocks away from here.
Yeah.
Pain Center. Yeah. Beautiful building and lovely work.
Yeah, so they've started a movement too here locally, and we really enjoyed having him in the studio. And then I was excited when Robert J. Davis called us up and said, "Hey, we'd like to be on your podcast." And we went, "Oh, this is good."
Yeah.
We wanted
That was
more of
so
that,
exciting,
And so I talked about 2 of his books, or 3 maybe. Why Coffee's Good for You and Fitter Faster. And there was another one, wasn't there?
I think so.
Oh my goodness. Oh dear.
Uh-oh.
We're not doing good here. Well, anyway, we enjoyed that, Robert.
It was a very fun conversation.
Yes.
And
And he's the healthy skeptic out there.
that's right.
And so he's continuing to put out little short bursts to get you into his literature. He's staying current with things.
Supersized Lies, was
There
that?
we
That's
go.
it. Thank
Loved
you.
that
Yes.
one.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was the first one we read.
Yeah.
And then we liked it so much we got into the other two. And that's something, once we read an author, sometimes we wanted to read more of that author.
Yeah.
And that was a discovery for us. What about Cliff Arsenault? He was a former student of mine. So when I found out he was an author, I said, "Hey, Cliff," and he said, "Yeah, let's talk." And he wrote a really fun book about keeping your marbles.
Yes.
And a lot of us, as we age, want to keep our marbles, and had really good advice in there. I thought it was a great episode. You had a friend. Amanda Che
joined us with her book, The Girlfriend's Guide to Lupus.
Mm-hmm. And thank you.
Thank you for that. Wonderful conversation and very important book.
Mm-hmm. And then Annie Franceschi.
Annie Franceschi wrote Establish Yourself, and she joined us. Wonderful book for small businesses and about marketing, and highly recommend. It was fun to have her on the show.
Yeah. And
she's a local art.
North Carolina author.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Durham.
Right. And so we were really grateful for the time they took to help us with this podcast, because I think they know how important what they are interested in, and the more people that can take advantage of what they've learned, the better it's going to be for all of us.
Yeah.
So we're just a vehicle for some of that.
Tired of feeling stuck in your health journey? At Well Balanced Nutrition, we understand that achieving your health goals isn't just about what you eat. It's about overcoming the mental roadblocks holding you back. Our team of expert nutrition coaches is here to guide you every step of the way, helping you break through mindset barriers and reach your full potential. Don't let mindset barriers stand in the way of your health and happiness. Call Well Balanced Nutrition today and start your journey to a better you.
And then we had some guests that joined us, because we wondered, does anybody else read these books? It's Tim told us when we got started we were in a niche market.
Yep. You still are.
And what does that mean?
That means that the audience that you're going to be sending stuff out for are specifically looking for what you're delivering. These are people who are interested in the books that you're reading. They are interested in the health things that you're talking about. And the market is smaller, but it is a strong market for that.
Yeah, and our hope was that since there's so much attention right now to individual responsibility on our health, that we would have a larger audience than we'd seem to attract. So we got a little discouraged by that, but we're remaining hopeful that people are waking up. And I think with the public discourse right now, there's more, in America anyway, there's more and more attention on, I should be paying attention to this, and what do I need to do, and how do I do it, and maybe I need some references and resources.
Yeah.
So,
and that reminds me, I think our mission is an important one, that A, we wanted to be informed about the information that's out there. And B, we wanted to be discerning of, is this good information? Is this information we should apply to our lives?
and is it one size fits all?
Is it one size fits all? Because we, in the health and wellness business, would hear people ask us about these books before we got started. And we're like, well, I don't know. I guess I'd have to look at that book and see. So I hope that we've not only shared some of the insights from the book, but inspired you to kind of be a skeptic yourself, like Robert.
Yeah.
Right? And decide, do I trust this author? Is this information right for me? Can I apply this? Can I take bits and pieces, but not the whole picture? Be flexible with it. I hope our listeners took that away of all of our reading as well.
Yeah, and you reminded me that when we started this, we were calling ourselves a book club.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe we'll go back to that as we exit from this for a temporary time and just see if that's a better way to get the conversation going with more people. But we modulated. It's funny over the 4 years how we have, modulated in presentation formats and all that. But our intention, I don't think, has changed at all.
Right. Yeah. We've always wanted to have conversations.
Yeah. As I was saying, we had people come and join us, and so just to thank them, Brittany Biggs was here, Valerie Kaiser was here when we were talking about nature and then yoga and body movement and things like that. Cyrus Bush joined us when we were into the science of tapping. You had a colleague that joined us? Lucy.
Oh, yeah. Lucy Hayhurst, co-owner of Well Balanced Nutrition, joined us a couple of times.
Yeah, and brought a really good perspective to that. And, she's not local, so we really appreciated her participation. And then one of our local counselors, Jennifer Locklear, was here because so many of the books we read had to do with, stress and how people emotionally handle that and how it affects our health. And so she had a really interesting contribution to make on that. Mm-hmm. So we had some sponsors, a few sponsors, and we said, yay, thank you, sponsors.
Thank you so much for your help.
Sal Valencio and Soft Golf, our local international. Did she say they're an international destination now? When she was here last time? Oh, good for them. And, of course, our friends at First Bank thought we were up to something good because they also want to help their clients have good health so they can make money and put it in their bank. All those things. It's all tangential. So thank you, everybody, for that. We've really had a good run. Do you have anything else you want to add to the thank you section? I think I got it covered there.
You got it covered, yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I wanted us to kind of talk about some highlights about, was there any take home or what are you going to do with it? And Kristen, I had so much fun. I have a notebook of notes, and I went through it, and I went, ooh.
Oh, you kept it all in one notebook?
You're and I have all these tabs. Jealous. But somewhere along the line, we were talking about these acronyms.
Oh, yeah.
So I started a index on acronyms, and it was hysterical
so many. Okay.
to read.
Let's go back.
Well, we can look at a couple of them. And the thing was that a lot of them started using the same letters for different things. But, okay, HIIT.
HIIT, workouts.
Mm-hmm. That's high-intensity interval training. I'm going to leave my favorite one to the last. Okay, WWH. And I think these authors wanted us they gave us these things so that we would remember them. But after you've read a whole bunch of them, it's like,
they all blur together.
WWH, what?
Was that from How to Break Up With Your Phone?
Maybe it's what else, when, and how much.
Yes, it was. Yeah, but I didn't remember what it stood for, but I remember reading it.
Yeah, and it's kind of good. What else could I be doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and when, and then how much of it do I really need? And that's sort of, you could apply that to a lot of things.
I love that one. It really is a good one.
Yeah. How about POP? I think you remember the joy, POP joy.
Yes.
That was pause, open your options, and pick joy. When you get into one of those fits where you're not doing what you think you should be doing and you're squeezed. And I think you gave the example of you were in your kitchen and you hadn't exercised and you were beating yourself up about it and didn't get that worked in. And then you said, you paused. And then you said, what are my options?
I probably turned on some music and had a dance
you
party.
Did. That's what
myself.
You said. That's what you did. And that was, a fix.
Yeah.
And so that was fun.
I really liked POP. It's such a positive message, and
you haven't forgotten that one.
No, still use it.
Yeah. Then there was the walk from Awe. When we read Awe, walk, and that was witness what's going on around you, accept it, love yourself, and know thyself.
Ooh.
So that was just walk through and you will find awe. And awe is very good for us. That was an interesting book.
One worth revisiting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We rushed by these things and we had to start reading another book, and then it was like, I forgot that I read that one. But I have referenced that one several times. Have you found other ones that you've referenced?
Oh, yeah. Well, in my nutrition practice, the Atomic Habits and the Tiny Habits, of course, those come back a lot.
How about the high fives?
Yeah, not as much. I love that one. It's so fun. We do high five each other at Well Balanced Nutrition after every team meeting, and it's virtual, so we do a virtual high five. Mm-hmm. So we've kept that habit, and it's fun. It's fun. Unwinding anxiety is another one that has stuck with me, and maybe after you're done with these acronyms, I can revisit that one.
No, I mean, we can go off these. I mean, I could go on. I mean, I got pages of these things. We don't
No,
want to
I'm
go off.
enjoying. No, yeah, let's keep going.
Oh, yeah, listeners, remember all these. Okay, how about MAPS?
Maps.
Yeah, from No Sweat.
Oh, don't remember that one.
Yeah, that was meaning, awareness, permission, and then a strategy. And that No Sweat book was about motivation. How do you deal with, when you're not motivated to do something? It was the science of motivation.
I think it was a focus on exercise, motivation to exercise, if I remember right.
But I think that's transferable.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, so maps.
Meaning, awareness, permission, and then have a strategy.
I have to revisit that because I need more context there.
Mm-hmm. I think you're trying to be aware of what your goals are.
Okay, have a meaning.
And then give yourself permission. If you're not perfect, that thing about do something. And then what are your strategies that you can apply to those times?
Okay. What else you got?
Spark. Did I do that one?
Mm-mm.
Okay. That was from Fun. Power of Fun. Didn't we do that one? Space, passion, attract, rebel, and keep it going. Spark.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did have so many of those.
Yeah.
I love that you kept them.
Well, I learned one in the Gospel of Wellness these are like there's a YOLO. All these young people know what YOLO is, FOMO.
Right.
So what's YOLO?
You only live once.
Yeah, see, I learned that one. And then the nuns, the NONES, which I didn't know about those, but those are those who have no religious affiliation, and that came out in the Gospel of Wellness, which was when I went back and looked at my notes and getting ready for this, I went, I might want to read that book again, because it was a provocative book by Rena. Mm-hmm. I can't remember her last name right now. It'll come to me.
It was kind of groundbreaking.
Yeah,
right?
But she was challenging all of us in the wellness industry, and it was like it made me a little uncomfortable because she's talking about me. I hope I'm not doing it that way. But it was a pretty comprehensive bashing of the wellness industry and how it's moved in. And so those of us that are doing it right, hopefully we're doing it in a beneficial way. There are players in the wellness industry that are in it for the money. And that was her point. And they're in it and they're doing some damage under the auspices of wellness.
Right.
And it was interesting story. And she shared a lot of her personal stuff in there that I thought influenced the way she was thinking. Because she'd been living in New York and had been into all those high-profile
right. Well, she
gyms
was
and
a health writer, right?
Yeah, journalist.
So it was her job to go and experience all these things. And so she just jumped.
And then how the clothing industry took off and how all the supplements and all the skin care and all the stuff, Anyway, what do you do with that? But I'd say I want to go back and look at that again, because when I was doing my notes, I thought, I want to look at how I feel about it today.
Yeah, I think everybody should read that one.
Yeah. Okay, Tame, from The Happiness Trap. Tame, T for take note, A for allow, M for make room, and E for expand awareness.
Dealing with your emotions?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
The Happiness Trap. Oh, here's one for you. FODMAP. That's a nutritional one.
Don't make me say all those carbohydrate names right now.
Fructo-oligodimono.
Monosaccharide.
Okay, we did that. SCFA, short-chain fatty acids. But, they throw these terms around in these books, and if you aren't familiar with them, you do have to make a glossary. Because they throw them back out there a little bit later, and you go, what was that about? ACT, I saw ACT before, but that's not what you're talking about over in this book.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite one, and I'll stop with that, was the mTOR, because one of the first books we read was The Switch by James Clement. Mm-hmm. And I had not heard about mTOR really. This is kind of news to me. And then I loved the story about the discovery of mTOR, because they were down on Easter Island and they found a bacteria named rapamycin. And then somebody figured out that rapamycin would attach to the cell surface on a receptor. And so they came up with this mammalian, receptor of rapamycin, target of rapamycin, mTOR. Well, anyway, mTOR showed up in a couple other books we've been reading.
Yeah, it did.
And sort of with this last book. And then when I went back and read my Switch book, it was sort of in contrast to what Gabrielle Lyon said in Forever Strong about protein.
Yeah, I didn't know what to make of that contradiction there.
Yeah, and so I did bring the book in with me just because I got excited about it. And the thing, he's saying you should be aware of a high-protein diet.
Right.
And she's saying you need a high-protein diet. And I think what she's also saying is you need to be extremely physically active.
Right. She's not saying eat high protein and
sit
not
on the
move.
sofa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you might get lost in that because
That's true.
you start eating all this protein and then you're not doing the resistance training and weightlifting and muscle building. But if you're not doing that, you could be at risk for kidney damage, according to Clement, and he's got some pretty good references on it. Weight gain, because it is as calorie source. Your protein it doesn't spike your blood sugar as much, but it releases if you need calories. They're coming in, and if not, they're going to go into fat if you're not burning them. That's why you need to move your body. Increased risk of developing heart disease, increased risk of cancer, particularly colon cancer. But he does a caveat in there about processed foods, which we read that wonderful book. Ultra
processed people. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any takeaways from that one?
That's a good book. I would love to reread it. Lucy's currently reading it, and so we've said we want to have some conversations about it. And she brought up some things that I'm like, oh yeah, I got to revisit that. They talked about this study where people who are moving all day long burn the same amount of calories as people sitting. That was.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've heard that too.
Very interesting. So, let me go back and read that because it hasn't come up in other books that we've read or in any other aspect of my work so far. But it was interesting.
Which is another reason that I'm kind of glad we're stepping away from reading books. I feel that I want to go back to some primary literature. I'm finding that, they're referencing the primary literature. But I don't know if I read it the same way they read it. So I kind of want to take a journey back a couple of steps.
Like what?
Well, there was an example I had. Right now you're hearing all the controversies about all sorts of things. And I do agree there's not really consensus in the scientific community. I think there is questioning, and it should remain that way. You should be able to challenge something and not be labeled a quack because you have a question. And we need to have more discussion that will modify people's opinion or support their argument rather than shutting the conversation down.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I want to go back a few steps and look at some of these, like the Women's Health Initiative. When I was working in the medical community, early 90s, that thing was just getting started. And all of a sudden, a lot of changes came about because people realized that a lot of our health recommendations were based on research done on men, young men, and may or may not be transferable to women. And in some cases, it's not transferable to women. The Menopause Manifesto made a big case in that book about it's a good thing we're looking at data coming from women, and there's not a lot of it, and long-term data, that kind of thing, because we have the nurses study. So some of those things, I just kind of want to go back and strengthen my understanding of some of that.
Right, directly,
Yes.
instead of what the author
Yeah,
said.
instead of what somebody's telling me they said, because a lot of times people tell you stuff and you say, well, that's not quite the way I read that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Well, that reminds me, I made a list of books that almost made the show. Things that
Oh, that's good.
Eleanor, I probably shut down, but Eleanor wanted me to read. Or that we just didn't get to, or we both decided. So we kept coming back to the idea of reading The Body Keeps the Score.
Oh, yes, we did, and we never got there.
We never got there, but I still think that that's probably an important book. We kind of debated on part of our process was to pick a lot of new books or
Hot off the press.
Hot off the press. And so we would teeter-totter. Do we go back to some of these older books or
Classics,
not? Classics. So one of those was the China study.
Yes, I've been wanting to read that. I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we kind of toyed with the idea of reading a newer book by those authors. It's called Whole Rethinking Nutrition. But that didn't make it to our list. How Not to Die.
That was the very first book I showed you.
Yeah, it was really thick. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
she said, I'm not doing that.
I don't know.
But you know what, Kristen, you have come a long way because you've read some of those big old fat
read
books.
some big fat books. Let's see. These are some of the newer ones that we made just in the past year. We just didn't get to or decided for some other reasons. Secret Life of Trees.
Oh, I can't wait to read that.
I don't know that it was really wellness oriented, but it seemed like a really neat book.
There's one after that. That guy wrote The Hidden Life of Trees, and then this is The Secret Life.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Art of Balance. I think we found that one when we were at a bookstore play date. The Myth of Normal. Now, talk about big books.
I actually bought it.
I bought it too, and I'm like, I don't know.
Well, we might read it.
Changed our minds. The Myth of Normal. I mean, the concept sounded really interesting because it kind of went into mental health and what was normal, but it may be too much for us. And then Better Brain. That one is in my bookshelf right now. But any others that
No, but
you're ready to read now?
Some of the classic ones that I wanted us to read was another Deepak Chopra, The Super Brain.
Oh, yeah.
It was so good. So, maybe sometime if we come back to the studio and you've read a book and I've read a book, we could talk about what we've read. Yeah, any other ones in there?
The last one, I mean, there were more, but I just chose a couple. Scarcity Brain, Fix Your Craving Mindset, and Rewire Your Habits. That was on our list.
Yeah. So anyway, folks, it looks like we've had a great time. We've covered a whole breadth of wellness literature. We've looked at physical fitness. We've looked at dietary, the physical body, the dietary, the quantum body. We even looked at that,
No, you bring up a good point. I want to make sure we make it that, we tried to pick a variety of topics that represent the wellness wheel. So we've talked about nature. We've talked about the body, the immune system, mitochondria.
And financial health.
We talked about financial health in a couple of different books.
Environmental health.
Mental health in different aspects. Emotions, burnout.
So we were trying to pay attention to the whole constellation.
Yeah, also like time management, things of that nature, personality, like the Enneagram book.
Yeah.
Yoga, we did lots of different fitness ones. So we ran the gamut there.
High five, girl. I think we did.
High five.
And it's about time for us to wrap up and say, keep reading.
Keep reading, keep
talking.
Implementing.
Yeah.
Keep talking, keep up the curiosity, keep asking good questions.
And we're going to do that too.
Yeah.
So over and out. This is Eleanor at 360health4u.com.
And thank you all for listening and being a part of our journey. I'm Kristen Norton, one of the registered dietitians of Well Balanced Nutrition at wellbalancednutrition.com.
And thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
You're the best.
Tim.
Thank you, ladies.
Best producer ever.
The views and opinions stated in this podcast are solely those of the contributors and are not necessarily those of our distributors or hosting company. This podcast is copyrighted, and no part can be reproduced without the expressed written consent of Kristen and Eleanor.